Okay, I'm going to be showing the supine technique. I'm actually going to be doing it on one of our techs, Zach here, just because my wife, she had a baby about 8 months ago, and just because some things going on that I don't necessarily want to do the supine technique. She, not necessarily hypermobility, but a lot of sensitivity in that area. And kind of testing it before, I don't feel comfortable going into the supine technique. I'd actually choose a sideline where I could control it a lot more. So thankfully Zach has agreed to be our demonstration today. So what first I'm going to ask him to do is go ahead and scoot over towards me. Perfect, and then go ahead and relax. And then I'm going to set up the legs first and move them over. And generally what I'll do, just to get a little bit more of that lockdown, I'm going to go and cross one leg onto the other. Secondly, what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring your arms behind your head right here. I'm going to close it and I'm going to bend him over as much as I can, just right there. How's that feel?
Fine.
Okay, good. So then I'm going to bring him over, and as you see, I've kind of lost that side bend. So I'm going to bring him back here. Come up and over. What's the last side bend? And then, so since I can't get a good grip, I'm actually going to bring my arm around here. Lock in. Coming in. Get right on top of that ASIS. Down. And then just like that. And that's the supine technique. Yeah. Today what we're going to go through is lumbar treatment. And first what we'll do is start off with CPAs. Oftentimes I'll use this more as a screening tool than necessarily as a treatment, but it's not completely out of the norm to do it either. And what you want to do is, of course, always kind of get onto skin. And you want to come in and find the iliac crest, and then slide right over onto that central process. The spinous process. So now that I've found that, approximately that's about L4. So and then what I like to do is find L4, go down to L5, use kind of the soft spot right above my pisiform, make sure I'm getting over, and go down. And just if we're going into treatment, I should already know what grade I'm going to go into based on irritability. So I can go L5, going down into L4, and then going to L3. If I want pain control, or if I think it's a higher irritability, I want to grade into it, I'll start with a grade 1, or I'll start with a grade 2, and then go into a grade 4 and then a grade 3 based onto the figure. For a UPA, oftentimes what I do is I actually use my thumbs. So I'm going to come in here again, find my reference points, go to 4, and then from 4, come up to top, drop right off that spinous process, and then going down just like that. So, two ways I'll do it. If I'm assessing, my thumbs are going to be out. If I'm treating, my thumbs are going to be on top of one another, kind of built just like this. The main reason, out here, all my force is going through my metacarpal joint here is going through my entire arm. So back on that L4, going down and treating just like this. Of course, the bed's a little high. That's why I want my tippy toes. That's L4. If I go down to L5, again, I want to change the angle up. I want to almost kind of go underneath. Now, this is different on everybody, even to if you have a pillow or under them. So I want to find my spot, and almost like, right where the PSIS is, it's right in there. It's just kind of drop down and drop right into there. And then play around with it a little bit too, because, like I said, that joint angle is different for everybody. So, the back is curved. You want to follow that curve. So you go 5, 4, 3 should generally be straight down. And then in 2 and 1, you want to kind of go on top and have a little bit of an angle. But I almost feel like it's kind of when you're, almost when you're needling and you do that kind of fraying, not pistoning. You're just going here to here to here, going in just little small increments to make sure I am in that line of the joint. L2. And then go up into L1. The other way that you can do this is with the kettle-borne wedge. You can find your reference point, and then what I do is dip my finger down in just to make sure I can kind of feel that movement and have one moving onto the other. Going down. Now, generally, based on the person, if I do this, I'm not going to get anything if it's here. So a lot of times when you get to 3, sometimes you have to flip around, going down, just like this. And I'll be honest, I don't get much value beyond L4. If it's L5, I'm going to go probably UPH just so I can get that good feel of the spine. I feel like this is almost too bulky, and I have a hard time differentiating that between the sacrum. Next one I'm going to do is show a side lying. I'm going to show you kind of a mobilization and manipulation. But first, I'll tell you what, let's go through physiological segmental mobs. So, a couple ways that I can do this. If I don't want it really bad on me, cat staring at us. Creepy one? Creepy one, yeah. Sorry. Alright, so, get onto here, and I want to kind of flex up the top. And then when I find it, a couple things I can do. I can come in here technically and block and just kind of move a little bit. Actually, I'm sorry, not block, but necessarily kind of come and assist that motion a little bit. But what I like to do a lot of times, if I got them wound up to there, come down, cup that segment just here with my little T-Rex arms, and then come down and see if I can get a little bit of just traction at that moment right there. So I've got it wound up 3 under 4. 3 under 4. I'm blocking 3, coming down and doing 4 just like that. That's bilateral, or I can also do unilateral. Again, you can always block and kind of move up and down. Same thing can go into extension. I could go bilaterally into extension, wind it up, block into here, and then go back into that extension. Rotation, we'll go into that a little bit with the sidewind manip. And the other way that I do this too is I like to do a lot of side bending, if that's, of course, based on their coordinate sign. And again, going into here, and then what I can always do is bring their legs a little bit off the table. And I want them a little bit more because I want free clearance. But say I wind up to there, I can block the top one, go down to the bottom, and I want to feel that bottom one drop down as I block the top. Or if I want to work on kind of opening on the other side, I can always come in and do there, and this can easily turn into a muscle energy. Now say I want to do a rotation. I prefer this one over the supine sideline, the supine manipulation. I prefer this one. I feel like I get a little bit more purchase. I get a little bit more specific, and from a patient tolerance standpoint, it's usually much higher. So what I'll do is, again, specificity, we know it's kind of hard to do and it's kind of hard to pick, but the more specific I am, it's the more likely I am to be at a target area, and most important, it's a little bit more safe. Gives the patient more confidence in just quickly winding them up. So if I go here, and then what I'll do, since we can lock down from the top still, I'll actually ask the patient, go ahead and straighten your leg out for me. Good. And then pull, just straighten your, there we go, perfect. And then I'll come and hook. So I still, like I said, want to be specific. My thumb is now still in that place I wind from the top down. And then what I'll do is go ahead and, let me borrow this arm real quick. And then to lessen work on me, I'll say, kind of grab my shoulder blade. So just right there. Not that arm. There you go. And then wind up just like this. Now go ahead, take this arm and relax. But actually, take this arm and this arm, and then just kind of grasp your elbows for me. There we go. And then I can come in. Now I'm back to that spot. I want to make sure I'm right where I want to be with that wound up. I check to make sure that their knee is clear. So if you're hitting the knee into the table, you're not going to get it. Roll them over. And just first, before I do anything, say, how does that feel? Good. So if it feels good, then I will actually go into it. But of course, I'm just going to give you a little quick stretch. Go down, Get to that in range. And just drop into it just like that. And relax.